Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. If you haven't seen me around, it's lovely to meet you, and if you have, welcome back to another Fusion Friday. This week, we've honestly got a super difficult one. Not only do the characters never interact with each other, they all have incredibly limited screen time. And I decided to do a pretty ambitious pose and gave them 4 hands. Dear lordy, I must hate myself. If you missed the memo, I'm fusing the Rutile twins and Volleyball / Pink Pearl today. I'll make one thing super clear right now. I basically had never any intention to give this fusion 2 heads like the twins. In my mind, because the Rutiles are explicitly 2 distinct people? 2 distinct gems, I guess? They just share a body / gem, so it didn't make sense that any fusion they made wouldn't also fuse the both of them together too. So 1 head for this fusion. I did decide to draw a second mask-like face though, like obsidian or alexandrite, as a nod to the twins' dual-headedness. As for the concept I went with, I was going for a contemporary dancer, as when I was doing like the sketches in my sketchbook, that's just the vibes or style I guess I was getting from combining their clothes and body type. I think aesthetically dancers make a lot of sense in the homeworld design philosophy. Specifically, obviously, the pearls have a lot of ballet influence, but even the crystal gems all clearly have different music genres tied to them, either in their music themes or how they dance for fusion, a big example being Amethyst. And within Homeworld, balls and fancy dances clearly have an important influence on the society. They literally didn't have one the entire time Pink was presumed dead. But as soon as they wanted to announce Era 3, and even back before when Pink wanted to host these parties, they used the balls as a way to express, maybe not themselves, but to honestly very much showcase the way that the Diamonds had authority over them, even in the way that they would dance for the Diamonds' entertainment. Long story short, she dances. Big fan of the composition I used. I've never done weapons or props before for these, videos, but I just had an idea. The Rutile twins are super not explored in the show. I don't even think they're explicitly soldier gems or anything, but I believe they do pilot Laz's ship. Whether or not that's their homeworld purpose is up for debate, but they read as very precise, professional, and also caring gems, so that lends well to the contemporary aesthetics I went with, as if you've ever done any kind of dance, you know the fucking insane amount of skill and control of your body you need to perform any of it. I do aerial hoop, so I've taken many a different kind of dance class in my life to assist my ability to branch out in dance styles for my aerial routines with the songs I do, and also the floor stuff, the floor dancing routine part. And I genuinely despise it. The floor is not my forte. Get me on a big metal hoop and I'm all good. But I just get so embarrassed doing the dance parts. So super jealous of anyone who has the control and dance charisma for it. I would love to do a fusion or even just gem design inspired by some of the different aerial sports. I think trapeze, silks, and even pole would make for some wonderful concepts. I really love that I can use this background skill I have to help inform my art. A great example in this piece is I was so determined for her toes to be pointed. Fuck toes, though. I genuinely don't know that I've ever drawn them. I drew literally 4 hands, so I think I deserve to say thanks but no thanks on drawing the other stupidly hard thing we got at the end of our limbs. For this fusion, I chose an Argonite. Specifically, the one pictured here is an Argonite star cluster, mainly because I think they are gorgeous. These gems are both calming and energizing, and are, would you believe it, used for healing. I really didn't do much with any of that. The meaning of this gem was... The characters themselves were not overly inspiring for an interesting concept, to be honest, so I didn't really do much with it at all. But maybe she has a very dual personality to take some more inspiration from the Argonite. Being both a very energetic gem in personality, maybe a bit, I don't know, Pinkie Pie-ish, I don't know, but performing in a more calm contemporary style of dance. I can't really think of a neat gem power, and we don't see any of the weapons tied to the twins or Volleyball, unless you count her ribbon wand, but that's explicitly a gift from Pink Diamond, so I don't think that's her gem weapon. To shout out a pretty neat comment from my last video, if we are saying that that ribbon wand is her gem weapon, someone said Spinel and her could make one of those stretchy, sticky hands, and I just cannot believe I didn't think of that. It's fucking brilliant.
Of course. Fuck, it's genius. Why didn't I think of that?
So maybe they'll come to the rescue again for a good weapon or power idea for Argonite this time. But in general, if you ever have any better ideas or just interesting ideas, or wanna let me know what you think of my ramblings or even my art, I love hearing from you guys. I've effectively ran out of things to say about Argonite, so instead I'm gonna shift gears a little bit and talk about what I kind of want to see from specifically the Rutile twins in Laws of the Stars. One thing that I think they really need is they need separate names. They need more of a distinction between the two of them. I guess they are like left and right, but I have no idea who is who, that's for sure. And so I would really love to see them have more distinct personalities, and we definitely get those vibes in the original show. The voice actress does a really good job at giving the two Rutiles a very distinct voice, but we don't actually get to see that really interact with the rest of the cast. We just see them as a singular character, essentially. I also think it would be really, really interesting to see them, like, fuse. I think, like, I would love to see if in universe they keep the dual-headed thing, or if they go more with my line of thinking of if they fused, they would fuse. They would become one being, because the Rutile twins are two beings, but when fusions fuse, unless they are incredibly unhealthy, they are not two separate people. So I would definitely love to see that. I'd love to see more of their interests. They went to little homeschool, and they graduated, but I'd love to see, you know, what they studied, what they were doing on Earth in that time. Were they doing pilot things, or were they working in the bakery with Lars, or were they doing work experience somewhere else? I think they are such an interesting set of characters, the off-colors, that we do not get to see any of. And I think they are a phenomenal set of characters to do a spin-off series on. I would very much love to see them, like, use this as a way to show more of, like, space. Obviously, it's Laws of the Stars. I would love to see these characters actually be in space and interact with other alien planets and alien species, and actually deal with the ramifications of the tyrannical dictatorship the Diamonds ran. Obviously, we see that in, like, Save the Light, the game that came out between, I think, the movie and the end of the show, where we can see characters who still believe in the Diamond Authority. But I still would like to see more of that, especially in an animated context, and not a game that you cannot even play anymore. So yeah, I would love to see more of the Rutile twins. I'd really love, even if they just did one episode, maybe the pilot or the first episode that was entirely made up of little snippets of the backstory of all of these characters. Obviously, the Rutile twins, we actually get an actual canon discussed backstory of them just emerging and everyone running away in fear, but when did they meet the rest of the off-colors? How long were they by themselves with just each other? And so I would love, especially if it was a like The Answer style animated episode, see all of the backstories. I would also love to see the components of like fluorites and see that godforsaken doomed romance between Ruby and Pearl that make up Rhodonite. Oh, it would just be gorgeous. Ramblings aside, this isn't a Laws of the Stars video, so I'll stop talking about it there. But if you are new to my Fusion Fridays, they are a little bi-weekly event I do where you get to vote, if you're interested, to see who the host will fuse with. Last week, Spinel and Volleyball fused, so you guys voted on Rutile to fuse with Volleyball. And so this week, you can... I've said Rutile so many times in a row now, but you can see who they want to fuse with. You got options, you got options. The way I run it is I have a big spreadsheet and I just randomize 3 numbers to make it a little bit more easier for me to control. Actually, that's entirely the reason. So I have rolled some numbers, and your options for who's going to fuse with the Rutile twins are Blue Zircon, Ruby, or Holly Blue. I'm definitely more inclined to the blue characters, as I think every single week we've had a red or pink fusion, so that is my personal opinion. But also, we haven't had a crystal gem, except for Steven, who started the whole thing off, so maybe it would be really interesting to see Ruby. Up to you guys, and I will get back to you next time with that fusion design.